Hey guys, what's up? Sherpa here. This is a rare afternoon video and I'm doing a double today. So I'm here for you when the markets are open and when they're closed, and I'm watching it so you don't have to. So appreciate all my followers, all my bulls out there, and hopefully picking up some new ones along the way. This thing's growing really beautifully and I love being able to spread the good word. Speaking of spreading the good word, this may be taken controversially, but you know, again, we're all about authenticity. This is the second video I made on an attempt for this video. I normally do them all in one take, but I got really rambly and I sounded apologetic. And the truth is, I got nothing to be apologetic for. I did not like the call. I thought that turned my bearishness on the company into a bearishness nearing the necessary action of selling this company. It is the number one holding of my ever bullish one portfolios that I sell. I have a lot of clients, a lot of customers, a lot of friends, and a lot of family that own this stock, but that doesn't change the reality. We're traders, we're not bag holders. We make money in good markets and bad, and we also move on or make decisions whenever a stock is moving against us. So straight up, I feel as though this company is getting more and more, I'm not gonna use the word fraudulent, but I will use the word misleading. And they've been misleading us, they've been accused of misleading us for a while, and I really didn't agree with any of those. I thought the Hindenburg article was bad. I still think the price target by Wolf Research was bad, but I didn't like the comments by the CEO today. I'm going to tell you what they are. Just going to be straight. I'll tell you how to get out of it if you need to, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do specifically. Remember, this isn't investment advice. This is education. Your trading matters first, but we don't have to explain the love affair with Ride. It is still, in my opinion, a potential murderer's row. It may be one of the best stocks of the last decade, in hindsight, from the future looking back, not right now. At $9.80 price on this thing now, if you were looking at it, I wouldn't buy it. I would buy it at $7, and that's where it was. The main reasons are right here. I'm just going to be straight with you again. That's what it's about, and if it drops to 7, I'm going to buy it again. So don't get me wrong on that. It's just that the value versus the opportunity has diminished to me. Here's why. They're not going to make their estimated deadlines, and now they're calling them estimated deadlines. This was a pretty staunch deadline back in January there, Steve. The pre-orders were not even mentioned in this call. You mean you're in a lawsuit about fraudulently discussing how many pre-orders that you have, and now you're not even going to use a different word for pre-orders or contracts? You're also not going to throw out any number whatsoever. And when you're asked by a Goldman analyst, who's been very kind to you, by the way, you're going to throw out 20,000 and then be corrected by your assistant that it's somewhere in the 30,000s, and then they say somewhere in there. I want to give you some exact numbers. This company, you've been around for a year now. You've got a lot of people invested in you. You know, this is kind of like saying, oh, baby, I'll take you back after you're cheated. Now go out with the girls. This is silly. There's no reason to open up ourselves with that type of risk. I'm fired up about it. We talk about having to battle the institutions. We also shouldn't have to battle the management of our company. For that exact reason, if we were on Shark Tank, for that exact reason, I'm out. The discussion about the competition with Ford was dog shit. That's what came to my mind. I just wrote that down. So pardon the language, but it was dog shit. There's nothing, you don't go, well, we didn't anticipate this, and now that we've anticipated it, it's gonna be us and Ford. No, I wanna hear why you're better than. You had to have known this was coming. You guys are 200 miles away from each other, 400 miles away from another site. You have employees from those companies. You had to know this was gonna happen. If you didn't, then you're impotent as a CEO. So, Burns, it ain't gonna work, man. You can't do that. And if you are doing that, try to sell me something. Try to give me some sizzle. I love you because you're the anti-Elon, but we're really bordering along the lines of just incompetence as far as what you have to do in these type of meetings. You got the sharks in front of you. You got Goldman. You got Morgan Stanley. You had Barrett make the last question, and I thought that Barrett question was extremely nice. I mean, I've listened to probably 60 calls in the last year and a half. Specific to the stocks that I trade and the ETFs that I hold. And this was bottom 10%. Yeah, I'm not going to call it the worst, but it's close to it. We had, after the debacle in the desert, just say you're sorry, you screwed up. You didn't say that. What you said is that we learned a lot, and that you also kind of threw your engineering team under the bus for saying that the immense pressure of the desert caused that. You can't tell me you didn't test that, Beforehand, if you did, again, I don't want to look at the truth, but the truth is, that's impotence as a manager. That's incompetence as a manager. That's not doing a good job. That's not getting the job done. Second thing, the sell question. Here we go. He said, this is why. This is the exact thing I wrote down. The sell question is answered. Quote, we aim to be the company that makes it. There's 50 before us and we want to make it. Look, guys, 50 companies before you and we want to be the one that makes it? No. I want to hear you say, we're the first company that's going to complete this task. We have all the necessary grit, guts, and we're going to make it to glory. Give me something. This is awful. It's not how managers work. I know you're in the Midwest, but you don't have to be a Midwest idiot on this one. This is just brutal. Without funding, we may be able to make half of what we mentioned before. That's a direct quote. Without funding, that's additional funding, we may be able to make half of what we mentioned before. And that what he means there is that he's talking about production of the trucks this year. Well, that's not what you said. You said we're gonna be rolling these off starting in September. It's a hard deadline, he even said in the past. It's a hard deadline. We're gonna be rolling trucks off the Lordstown plant in September. I get that you have every excuse in the world, and I get that they're valid, but it doesn't mean that the trucks are going to be rolling off in September. And if it was an apology that you were issuing, you didn't. And I don't think you should apologize, but you need to be able to at least rectify the situation by saying we've gotten funding, we've found funding, not that you're going out there looking for it. And here we go. I just want to be very, very clear while I'm in the middle of this rant to the new guys out there. Companies like this are going to have zero problem finding funding. It's going up there with your hand out, or even saying, hey, this is almost a harbinger for the fact that we're not gonna really do what we said we're gonna do. And you didn't even say that. So I thought that the way that was stated, especially by a CEO, former Apple exec, get out of here. Steve, this is the second company you're running to the ground, man. A lot of people that are relying on you. We have enough difficulty battling the institutions and the funds out there. We don't need our CEO fighting against this also. So I don't like the leadership. That's the reason I'm probably going to be getting out. I'm going to tell you out here in a minute again. We intend to capitalize ourselves so that we can make the deadlines. There was zero mention of Lordstown Week. Lordstown Week, Investor Week, whatever you want to call it, coming up 3 weeks into June. There was zero mention of it. That was the only thing that made our stock price go up in the last 3 months, is just the mention that you're going to allow people to come into your factory and drive the trucks and test drives. The fact that they're not doing that now is not that they're not doing that. The fact they didn't even mention that in a call less than a week later, it sounded as though that they didn't have their shit together. Oh, this is a big one. So they said on the call that one of the biggest reasons that they burned through, and write this down, have a seat, don't fall over. The reason that they had to burn, one of the biggest reasons that they had to burn through 550 million, and now they're projected to only have 50 million at the end of the year. That might as well be, he might as well have said zero. He shouldn't have even really said those numbers. They're already in the report, but don't say them on a call. Because when you say that, we project to have 50 million. It's like, well, I project to have a car made of diamonds one day, but I can't promise you that's going to happen. So that was just a brutal thing to say. Tying that back into where I was going off, they're going to make the frames in-house now, and they were using a distributor or a different producer, a subcontractor, basically, to build their frames. And his excuse for making the decision to move them in-house was that the supplier of them, the subcontractor that they're going to use, had an unforeseen event that caused them to raise prices. I'm sorry, man. You are supposedly the first to market truck manufacturer in the EV space for full-size work trucks, and you're using that as an excuse on that you can't bully that guy. You can't go, well, look, we're going to pull the contract. Have some gusto. Hey, your competitor's going to do it. Hey, we're in the talks of getting with this company now, and we're going to bury you. You got to show some teeth here, Steve. That was brutal. I thought that was awful. So they're going to have to start making the frames in-house now. and that's going to cost them a lot more, and it costs them a lot more time, which means money, and money means needing more capital, and needing more capital when you're already this close means that you're begging and you're going to have to give it up. So that's brutal. For that reason, I am out. 3,000 pieces in the truck. This is kind of a small ticky-tacky thing, but I think diction or syntax rather matters. I think the words you choose matter. The words that they chose to choose and all their sales pitches, if you go to the website and download the deck, this is one of the top things that they say. They say that the truck only has 4 moving pieces. But then it said parts, that is, and then in this he says, well, you know, there's 3,000 pieces on this truck, and we get 60% of them from our suppliers. Okay, that's cool. Don't use the word pieces. Don't use the word parts like that, because it sounds like you're going, well, you know, it turns out you're checking out of this hotel and there's all these extra items on the bill. Get out of here. Don't add the information that you don't need. Another bad, just a terrible call by Steve Burns. Again, for that, I'm out. And just, I'm gonna highlight the number again, 585 million. I felt really good about making a recommendation on the stock and owning it personally and considering it the highest opportunity in the market. I no longer do. With a burn rate as high as they are, I don't care what the excuse is, and I know that it's a valid excuse. But the way the questions were answered, well, we're looking at other partnerships. We're looking at potentially, you know, having other partnerships and other opportunities with the Army maybe, and we sent this and we sent that. No, give me something concrete, or don't talk about it on the call. I literally think you could have said nothing and made this better. Instead, this is definitely going to cause the stock price to drop straight up. That's what it is. If you own it and you're not, you're no longer bullish. I'm no longer bullish. I'm gonna make myself in my trading journal. I'm writing a note for myself here that I don't care what happens. I won't touch this again unless it's at $7 or less, and I'm not gonna touch it at $7 or less until they have announcement of exactly the funding that they're gonna get. They have been way too far clandestine here. I'm getting rambly. You've gotten the point. The way you get out of it, what I plan on doing in my position, remember, this is all discretionary, and this is for you because you are taking agency of your own investments. But a good tip as a trader is to make sure, I typically watch it for the first hour. So roughly 8:30 to 9:30 I'm watching. From 9:30 to 10, I have a defined range. I pick a number, I throw a limit to sell the entire enchilada, not sell out in bits, to sell the whole enchilada at whatever 10% less than the price is. So the 10% trailing limit on the price that you choose at 940 is my trick on how to get out of this thing. And I'm going to rebuy when those other conditions are met. Otherwise, join my newsletter, trade with me. We've been making a lot of cash in a lot of other positions. And you know, this is what you do when you get the skills necessary, is that you can go, hey, I love this company. I see long-term prospects there. I still think it might make it, but they lied to me, so I'm going to go put money somewhere else where it's more advantageous. And we've got a lot of swing trades that do that. So everbullish.com, the Everbullish One portfolio, Everbullish Balance portfolio, Everbullish Dividend portfolio, the Everbullish One podcast, and then the free newsletter. I'm giving you the keys. Let's go to the top of the mountain. I'm the Sherpa baby, Chase at Everbullish, the YouTube portfolio manager. Thanks for watching. Again, take it for what it is, but don't, you know, we can't trade based on what we hoped we heard. I thought it was an awful call. That's it. LFG, AFG, LGR, I'm out.